Ibrahim alayhi salam is claimed by the Muslims. I showed you how in the first point I made, how his connection is to Islam. But we're not the only ones who claim him. Jews claim him. Jews take pride in being the religion of Abraham too. They call themselves the religion of Abraham too. But I tell you something. It's ironic that when the Quran gave da'wah to the Jewish community in Medina, they said, no thank you, we don't need your Quran, we already have what we follow. We don't have to think about this new revelation. We already have our own revelation. And Allah says, وَيَكْفُرُونَ بِمَا وَرَاءَهُ. They don't even believe what they have. They even disbelieve in what they have. Forget what Quran, they don't even do justice to Torah. That's what Allah says about them. But you know, one thing that's really important here is Ibrahim, people, you may have heard this. The Quran says that there are people who did not accept the prophets because they said, we will follow our forefathers. You remember this? We will not accept the prophets because we follow our forefathers. So we don't have to do any thinking. All the thinking was already done by our ancestors. Whatever they did, they were older than us, they were wiser than us. So whatever they did must be the right thing. So why should we question it? Isn't that the thinking? And if you question what your parents did, or what your grandparents did, or what your great-grandparents did, then it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. You shouldn't question what they did. You should just follow it. Ibrahim alayhi salam is actually, if you believe in Ibrahim alayhi salam, then you will never be this way. Because his entire life is about asking questions that gets him in trouble. He never stops questioning. Does he question his father? Yep. Does he question a king? قال ربي الذي يحيي ويميت قال أنا أحيي وأميت قال فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأتي بها من المغرب. He questioned the king. He questioned his father. He questioned his society. He asked questions that got him in trouble. Ibrahim alayhi salam will never accept an answer until you provide him evidence, until you give reason, until it makes sense. Ibrahim alayhi salam is a pure thinker. He's a thinker. He will never take anything at face value. If you and I are the legacy of Ibrahim alayhi salam, then we can never be honored. We can never honor that legacy until we become people who do what? Who think. Who ask questions. Who never take things at face value. Who explore and explore and explore and explore and explore. Who never say, we do this because our parents did it. We do this because their parents did it. Whether you are Muslim or not Muslim, by the way. Whether you're Muslim or not Muslim. Everything you and I do, our definition of right and wrong, our definition of what we must do and what we must not do, what we accept and what we don't accept. أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ. I call to Allah with eyes open. That is the legacy of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Never accept anything with eyes closed. Think, think, think. Ask, ask, ask. If you don't understand something in the religion, ask people who know more. And when they give you an answer and you're not satisfied with their answer, you tell them, I am not satisfied with your answer. I need better understanding. You have not only the right to ask, you have the responsibility to ask. You have the responsibility to ask. And this is what we must pass down to our children. This is going to be my final point. It's not about Ibrahim alayhi salam. It's actually the conclusion of all of this. When the ummah stops thinking, and when the ummah stops passing down the legacy of thinking, then the worst thing happens to the ummah. The worst thing. Then the next generation is Muslim only because their parents were Muslim. That is the worst thing that can happen to the ummah. Because then, the only reason that a child should hold on to Islam is because his parents were expecting it. You know, we're living in a day and age where families are very separated and children live a very independent life from their parents now. They go to college, they go to university, they get a job, they have their own life. Isn't that the case? And when they have their own life, you'll notice the vast majority of, whether you're Buddhist or Hindu or Christian or Jewish or Muslim, it doesn't matter. You'll see most cases, the parents are religious and the children are what? They're not religious. And they say, well, when I used to live with my parents, they used to take me to church every week. My father used to take me to Jumu'ah every week. But now I don't live with my dad, I'm in college, I'm free. I don't have to go now. I don't have a reason anymore. The reason was my parents. And when they go back for vacation to their parents' house, then they go back to Jum'ah again. And then they go back to college and they're free again. Isn't it? You know why this happens? Because we did not teach our children how to think about Islam for themselves. Why are they Muslim? Why must they accept Allah? Why must they accept the Quran? Why must they ask intelligent questions? Our religion is not a religion where you just accept with your eyes closed, we just follow it. No, 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 no. Ibrahim alayhi salam didn't even just ask people. Look at the legacy of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He even asked Allah, Rabbi arini kayfa tuhyil mawta. Master, show me, how do you give life to the dead? How do you do that? He even asked Allah. And Allah asked him, أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ? Didn't you already have iman? Didn't you already believe? قَالَ بَلَا وَلَكِنْ لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي. No, that's because I want to satisfy my heart. Allah is teaching us through the legacy of Ibrahim alayhi salam that we should ask questions until we satisfy our heart, until the heart is at peace. You must explore, you must think, and we must inculcate thinking into our children. Unfortunately today, even religious education, Islamic education is not about thinking anymore. Memorize these surahs, learn how to make wudu. Here's the time to make salah. Done. Your tajweed is good? Done. Kids memorize Quran, that means he's already got a ticket to Jannah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. This child has memorized Quran, he's reciting Quran, but not for one day did he think about a single ayah of the Quran. How can that be? How can we be the religion? He's reciting أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ وَلَا يَعْقِلُ. He's reciting, why don't you think? And he never thinks. You see the irony in that? You know? مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا كَمَثَلِ الَّذِي يَنْعِقُ بِمَا لَا يَسْمَعُ إِلَّا دُعَاءً وَنِدَاءً. This kid is leading Taraweeh. We're celebrating this child has memorized Quran. He's leading the prayer and he's reciting the example of those who, when they hear the call of Allah, it's like they're hearing just the calls of animals. It doesn't make any sense to them. And he's reciting it and he doesn't understand it. This is a tragedy. This is an absolute tragedy in this ummah. And it has to be undone, and this generation will have to undo it. Because wallahi al-azim, you know what is attracting people towards atheism? What's attracting people away from religion? I believe in science, I don't believe in God. There's all these people now. Why? Because they say, well, science, you get to think. In philosophy, you get to think. In atheism, you get to think. When religions don't want you to think, maybe other religions don't want you to think. Our religion is based, rooted in thinking. It's rooted in thinking. And that thinking, that critical questioning, that exploring, that is actually the legacy of who? Ibrahim alayhi salam. We always talk about the struggles of Ibrahim alayhi salam, but we don't talk about the thought process of Ibrahim alayhi salam. We need a bunch of Ibrahim alayhi salams in our society. People who question. They don't just accept what's around them. He was the only one who asked the question. He had no family support, no society support. Young man got himself in trouble for asking too many questions. But you know what? That is what we have to revive. That's what we have to restore.